Hello, welcome, and thanks for joining us on this edition of News 2. I'm Sandra Dumansing. Topping our newscast, police worked overtime this weekend responding to a string of incidences, including one that left one man dead, 2 children injured, and 3 vehicles struck during a shooting. Here's more. Police are investigating a number of crime reports on St. Thomas, including one that left 41-year-old Irvin Clendenin Jr. dead. He was shot at least once in his upper body.
About 6:15 p.m. on June 28th, police were dispatched to a vehicle accident on Smith Bay Road. At the same time, police were notified of a shooting on Smith Bay Road between the Point Pleasant Hotel and the Smith Bay Playground. Officers inspected a gray vehicle in the area and saw a man in the driver's seat who was unresponsive. 3 female minors were also in the vehicle. One minor had a gunshot injury on her hand and the other minor had cuts from broken glass. All 3 victims were taken by ambulance to the Schneider Regional Medical Center. Detectives said Clendenin was traveling eastward on Smith Bay Road with the 3 minor female passengers. He and the minor were struck by gunfire, which was being discharged by passengers in 2 or more vehicles traveling in the opposite direction on the same road. Officers and investigators on the scene discovered a second vehicle nearby, which was struck by bullets and sustained damage from a collision with another vehicle. A third vehicle police suspected was also involved was located nearby in the Tutu high-rise housing community. That vehicle also sustained damage from bullets.
Looking back earlier on Thursday around 4 p.m., police arrested 41-year-old Michael Davis and charged him with first-degree assault. Police say Davis was identified as the one who shot a victim near the Friedenhoy ballpark on St. Thomas.
Officers said the male victim was sitting on a wall near the ballpark when 2 males carrying handguns approached him and began firing their weapons at him. The victim was shot in his upper left chest area. He was taken to the Schneider Regional Medical Center where he was treated for his injury.
Detectives say this case is still being investigated as they search for a second suspect. Meanwhile, also on St. Thomas, police continue to search for a suspect who they say approached 2 females at a business and fired 1 shot.
On June 27th, between 7:45 and 7:30 p.m., she and another female were taking supplies into the rear entrance of the Options Day Spa in Sugar Estate. They were approached by a slim man who had braids in his hair and was wearing all black clothing. The male displayed a handgun and the woman ran into the store and closed the door. They then heard at least 1 gunshot.
Meanwhile, Criminal Investigation Bureau detectives on St. Thomas are also investigating a shooting that injured 3 male victims. Police were notified of the incident on June 30th about 4 a.m. And according to the preliminary investigation, the 3 men were near their disabled vehicle when they say another vehicle approached the area. As the vehicle passed the Splash and Dash car wash, unknown occupants inside the vehicle began firing shots at the victims. 1 victim was struck in his right shoulder, another in his right foot, and the third was injured in his left thigh. According to medical personnel, the victims were treated and released from the hospital the same day. Well, you are asked to contact the major crime detectives at 340-642-8449, Emergency 911, or Crime Stoppers USVI at 1-800-222-TIPS if you have any information that can assist police in any of these investigations. One church has taken an active role in learning about the candidates running for office. Speak the Word Ministries hosted a gubernatorial forum Sunday for the 2014 race. And while not all of the invitees showed up, the 4 who did presented their cases for why they should be the territory's next leader. NEWS2's Erica Parsons has that story.
There were 5 no-shows to a gubernatorial forum held Sunday by Speak the Word Ministries. Congresswoman Donna Christensen, Lieutenant Governor Gregory Francis, former Lieutenant Governors Gerard Luss James and Kenneth Mapp, and independent candidate Mona Barnes either declined or backed out at the last minute. But with their Lieutenant Governor running mates in tow, former Senator Adla Fonsi Donistorg, Marvin Pickering, Molita Smith Jr., and former Judge Soraya Diaz-Kofelt all fielded questions from local pastors.
I wanted for the religious community to have an opportunity to see all the candidates so that they could make an educated decision.
The four hopefuls spoke candidly about their plans to deal with the economy, but the local pastorate didn't hold back any punches, asking about the hot-button topic of same-sex marriage and whether the gubernatorial candidates would sign that bill into law.
My position was already established, and I said I was against it. I just simply feel that it affects our moral fabric, and that the Virgin Islands is not prepared to even entertain something like that. My personal preference, traditional marriage between a man and a woman. But I believe, strongly believe, that we should not discriminate against anyone.
My position, the position of the Smith-Frederick team, is that we do not support same-sex marriage. We will not propose any legislation as such.
I am not in favor of same-sex marriage, personally. I believe very strongly, looking at it from a lawyer's perspective and a judge's perspective, that the U.S. Supreme Court will deem that they must have equal rights.
The controversial issue of legalizing marijuana was also on the table. Numerous other issues were raised, including what skill sets each candidate has that qualifies them to deal with the economy, whether or not the Senate should be downsized, how they deal with corruption, and would they fire BOC Director Julius Wilson, given the state of the local prison systems. Erica Parsons, News 2.
Now, the entire forum is available online at videcision2014.com or at Speak the Word Ministries website, and that's www.stwmi.org. You can also contact the church. Well, meanwhile, we are getting close to the primaries, and here are some important dates to mark on your calendar. July 2nd is the last day for registration. On July 31st, the testing of electronic voting machines as well as tabulation equipment and certification by the board will occur. On August 2nd, it's the primary elections. Then August 12th, the casting of lots will be held for position of names on the official election ballot. November 4th is the general election day, and on November 18th, the runoff election is held. Well, St. John Festival events were in full swing this weekend. Smithsville has officially opened for business. And as you know, the Festival Village opening and ribbon cutting ceremony was held on Friday in Cruz Bay in honor of Miss Leona E. Smith. Here are some of the scenes from opening nights.
I'd like to present you with this plaque. It says the St. John Festival and Cultural Organization presents this plaque to Miss Leona E. Smith, Village Honoree, for her many years of contribution to the festival committee and the St. John community in its entirety.
I would like to thank the booth owners and vendors for their support. I'd like to thank our community for their continued support and patronage of our activities. It gives me great pleasure to thank the members of my family, friends, and staff who stand behind me each year to make sure that I have the tools and the energy to ensure that we have a splendid celebration. At this time, I would like to recognize some of the past village honorees, Miss Irene Scatley in booth number 12, Miss Jane Johannes that appears on the platform, Camille Paris, booth number 15, Mr. James Spen, Miss Natalie Thomas, our treasurer, and on and on. Again, thank you very much, and have an enjoyable and safe Grand Diamond Jubilee for St. John Festival 2014 celebration. Thank you.
Now here is a look at the Smithsville musical lineup tonight, Monday night. Enjoy Stylie Band, and then turn up the volume for Volume International. On Tuesday, it's Daddy Jones and the Crew, followed by Express Band and Crossfire. Wednesday, our very own Rudy Live hits the stage, then Spectrum in the spotlight, and closing out the night, Bunji Garland and Faye Ann Lyons. Now here's a look at some of the events coming up to mark on your calendar as well. On Thursday, July 3rd, there's an Emancipation Day celebration at 10 a.m. in the Franklin Powell Park. You can expect cultural reenactments and more. We'll have some more details on Tuesday's newscast. Now on Friday, July 4th, Juve will be held at sunrise at the St. John National Park. The festival parade kicks off at 11 a.m., then the fireworks at 9 p.m. in Cruz Bay Harbor that same night. But it doesn't end there. On Saturday, July 5th, there will be a Festival Village wrap-up. Now enjoy live video streaming of St. John Festival Village through Saturday, July 5th, 2014, and get all the action, performances, and interviews from top Caribbean artists. Simply visit the following website right there, fettelevision.com, bestislandfett.com, and focusvi.com. Innovative is proud to be a sponsor presenting live video streaming from Festival Village 2014. Turning our attention overseas, President Obama has chosen a former CEO to take over at the Department of Veterans Affairs. The agency has been under fire amid revelations of long scheduling delays at VA facilities nationwide and allegations over cover-ups. Craig Boswell has the story from Washington, D.C.
President Obama says Bob McDonald has the resume needed to turn around the Department of Veterans Affairs.
We've got to regain the trust of our veterans with a VA that is more effective, more efficient, and that truly puts veterans first. Bob's the manager. We need to help get this done.
McDonald, 61, was with Procter & Gamble for more than 30 years and served as CEO from 2009 to 2013. He's a graduate of the U.S. Military Academy and spent 5 years as a captain in the Army. Are you surprised by the choice?
I'm actually quite surprised because it is somebody coming out of corporate America, and I had hoped that we would get somebody that had that management and executive experience.
McDonald's nomination comes just a few days after President Obama was presented with a scathing internal review of the Department of Veterans Affairs, describing a corrosive culture marked by poor management and mistrust. If the Senate confirms McDonald, he'll be tasked with restoring confidence in an agency nearly 9 million veterans rely on for health care.
We need to put care for the veteran at the center of everything that we do at Veterans Affairs.
While McDonald oversaw more than 120,000 employees at Procter & Gamble, he stepped down in 2013 amid criticism over managing the company's growth. Craig Boswell, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
And keeping our eye on the economy, General Motors unveiled its compensation plan for victims of the automaker's defective ignition switches. GM hired attorney Kenneth Feinberg to handle the payments. He says there is no cap on the amount of money GM will pay out. Anyone who already settled with GM is eligible to file a claim. The company says at least 54 crashes and 13 deaths have been linked to defective ignition switches. Here's the New York Stock Exchange with our stock market watch. The Dow down 25, NASDAQ up 10. Coming up on News 2, our summer fun segment continues. Another fun event you can add to your list, one that takes you ziplining through the trees. Plus, 36 high school graduates were recognized on Saturday. Executives from Hovenza hosted an awards dinner for the territory's 2014 valedictorians and salutatorians, as well as their families. We'll be right back. Looking for the perfect adrenaline-pumping, fun-filled, yet safe activity to bring out the inner daredevil in you? Well, that's perfect for family and friends and children ages 8 and older. Believe it or not, check out Tree Climbing Extremes Zip Lining Canopy Tour. Experience exhilarating adventure that lets you ride through the air in the safety of a harness while overlooking the breathtaking sceneries of the Virgin Islands. The Tree Climbing Extremes Zip Lining Tour allows you to glide through the tropical rainforest of St. Peter Mountain while viewing Magens Bay, Josephine Dyke, Tortola, and other keys of the VI. Tree Climbing Extreme is located directly across from the St. Peter Mountain Great House. Reservations are required. Make your reservations online at ziplinestthomas.com or book your reservations. For more information, you can contact them directly at 777-ZIPS. Something fun to do there for the summer. It was a stellar night for 36 high school graduates Saturday. Executives from Hovenza hosted an awards dinner for the territory's 2014 valedictorians, salutatorians, and their families. The graduates were recognized for their hard work and many accomplishments. For that, they were each presented with a Microsoft Surface tablet and accessories, the Office 365 package, and $500.
We wanted to recognize them for their stellar performance and their academic achievements. And Hovensa in the past has performed these stellar award ceremonies. Unfortunately, we did close our operations at the beginning of 2012. We felt it was important this year to give back to education and to give recognition to the stellar students here in the Virgin Islands once again. And here we are at the wonderful Carambola Resort with the parents, families, and friends, as well as the Lieutenant Governor and the delegate to Congress. And we're very proud to be putting on this event for the students.
And congratulations to the students. Well, in other news, what are the prices looking like at the pumps? The wholesale price for regular and premium went up 4 cents, and the price of diesel by 5 cents after Hovensa adjusted their rack rates. Independent gas station operators in the territory are now paying $3.63 per gallon for regular, $3.84 per gallon for premium, and $3.50 per gallon for diesel fuel when they buy their fuel wholesale at Hovensa. And of course, those prices include the 14 cents per gallon tax the refinery collects for the government. Be sure to stick around. Your News 2 AccuWeather forecast is coming up next.